and all. Hearty welcome to each and everyone for this online session on Bark and Gate Metallurgy being conducted by SGCSE RGKT Newsweb. So let's welcome our today's chief guest, Mr. S. Haribabu sir, Homi Baba Medal winner, Scientific Officer D at IZCAR. Haribabu sir, who has done his graduation at IIT Newsweb in the Department of Metallurgy and Materials Engineering, got All India Gate 21st rank in his first attempt. With a strong motto of choosing a research-oriented career, he has selected for BARC and did 1 year training at BARC Mumbai and received one of the most prestigious Homi Baba Medal. He started his career as Scientific Officer C under Department of Atomic Energy, IZCAR Kalkappam. And now he is currently working as Scientific Officer D at IZCAR Kalkappam after getting promoted under Physical Metallurgy Division. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We are cordially inviting you to take up the session.
Thank you, Bhavani. Very good evening to one and all. Are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'll start the presentation.
Voice is somewhat low, sir.
Somewhat low. No?
Okay, sir. It's fine.
It's fine, okay? Okay, then I'll start the presentation. Are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'll start. Okay, good evening to one and all. I'm Haribabu, as Bhavani introduced me. Thank you for the kind introduction. So today I'll be discussing about how to get into BARC, and second topic is how to get metallurgy in particular. So I divided the presentation into two parts. So the first one will tell you how to join BARC, what are the various ways you can approach. So my contact details, okay, you can contact me at any time. So the first one is how to get into BARC. BARC is under the Department of Atomic Energy. Like BARC, there are several labs under Department of Atomic Energy. I'll come into that. So like any other organization, BARC also, Department of Atomic Energy has several organizations under it, and each organization will have several employees, several type of employees, like medical personnel will be there, some small clerks will be there, administration will be there, accounts will be there, and apart of it, the main people are scientists and engineers. So we call them here scientific officers. So in the BARC, Department of Atomic Energy, actually there are schemes through which they recruit scientists and engineers. So these are the various schemes. I think you can see on the screen. The first one is called OCES, Orientation Course for Engineering Graduates and Postgraduates. So for engineering, BTech is the qualification for this program, and science postgraduates. So MSc Physics, Chemistry and Biosciences are also available. The second one is called DAE Graduate Fellowship Scheme. It is also for the same qualifications. So after BTech, you can join this scheme also, or OCES. I'll come to that. What is the difference? Then the third one is KSKRA Fellowship, it is called. Dr. K.S. Krishnan Research Associate. It is for PhD completed students. So first, because we are all, you guys are all doing your graduation, I'll focus on first 1 and 2 schemes. Okay. So it is called OCS program. The program that I selected is called OCS program. Orientation course for engineering graduates and science postgraduates. So this is the scheme of the program. Generally, every year the notification will come. So you will have a written test or gate score. Based on the gate score or written test, you can be qualified to the interview. So generally, the notification will come, and Test will be in March after gate. Generally, it will be conducted after the gate, the written test. Otherwise, you can go to the interview directly with your gate score. If it is above some certain threshold, that they will inform you in the notification. So once you are shortlisted for the interview, you will get a mail and all. So after that, you can go for the interview. Interview generally will be 2 months time because a lot of candidates will be there. So after the interview, if you are selected, then they will call you for the training. So the training will be around 1 year. It will be the training will be a advanced level course in your own field. Like if you are a metallurgist, you will have a slightly advanced course for 4 months in metallurgy, then 4 months in your own 4 months in nuclear engineering. Then one project will be there, a small mini project. Then after the training, you will be having exams and all. You have to have some certain 50% of marks in these exams. Then there will be a placement session wherein you will be taken to different DAE units. Okay, I'll come to that also. What are the various different DAE units are there? That also I'll tell you. So that is one OCS program. So there will be a return test. After that, interview will be there. Then they will be calling for training. Hello? Hello?
Continue, sir.
Okay. So this is called OCS program. A slight variation is there in the DCFS program. DCFS is slightly different than OCS. The difference is if your five candidates are selected, if you are in the top 1 or 2, there is a chance that if you got some admission into MTech program in some institutes, they will be giving. ISC is not there in that, but some IITs are there. So if you got MTech admission in these IITs, what they will do is you can go to the MTech, complete the MTech, and come back and join the department. You understand? So after the MTech from the IIT, you can come back to the training. Your training will be half of the year only because you are already specialized in your field. Only nuclear engineering will be taught to you. Then you will be placed into DAE unit. Itself, they will give you some placements, and one of it you have to select which DAE unit you want to work. You have to select itself. But here, these guys have to complete the full training for the selection of the DAE unit. Okay. So here they will give just after the interview. They will give you just after the interview results. And if you want to opt for the DCFS program, you can apply again. Okay, this they will this you can do just through a mail. They will send you a mail to apply for the DCFS program once you are selected in the interview. If you are in the top interview results, then you can get this program. Only 1 or 2 candidates in each branch will be selected for DCFS program. Okay, so they will join the training after their MTech. Means after 2 years they will join the training. Half year training will be there. Then they will be taken into the DAE. I think it is clear. Okay? Then I'll go to the next. So I'm telling you here training is there for 1 year. So they are called training schools are there from different locations throughout India for training these candidates who are selected in the interview. Okay, the training, as I already told, has 2 parts. One will be nuclear engineering, one will be field. So these are the various locations where the training schools are there. You can see 5 different training schools are there. First is BRC Training School at Mumbai. That's where I tried, and these are the topics where they will the training is also slightly different for different training schools because at Mumbai it is headquarters. It is like a headquarters only. So you will be trained. All the departmental people, all the various department people will be trained here. All the departments. But if you take IGCAR Kalpakam, for example, metallurgy is there only at the BRC Mumbai, and sometimes BRC Training School Complex 4th number. Training School at Nuclear Complex Hyderabad also takes metallurgy students. So that is one. That is one thing. So these are the different training schools at different locations, and also the subjects are slightly different. The technology is slightly different. If you because we have different kinds of nuclear reactors. So because of that, the training is also slightly different. So here, these are the 5 different training schools. So you can even opt for the training school where you want to you want to get trained. Okay, that is also your option, but there will be a selection. After this, I told you after the training, there will be placement into the units. For example, people are there in metallurgy for 1 year. The training was over. After 1 year, the training will be over, and these 6 officers will be ranked according to their marks in the exams they conducted. Then they will be given 6 different placements. Okay, so for the various DAE units where they can be placed. Okay, you see the second number, research and developmental sector organizations are there.
Sir, some of
Research
the
and
sir, some of the students are saying to raise your voice, sir. It is very less.
okay. Now is it okay?
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay. So there are various organizations are there. Some of them are research and developmental R&D organizations, such as BRC, where I am working. ICAR also is like that. And there are other organizations like Raja Ramanna Center for Advanced Technology, Variable Energy Cyclotron Center, and Atomic Minerals Directorate for Exploration and Research, Global Center for Nuclear Energy Department. These are all research and developmental sector organizations in the department. Then there are some industries, full industrial work will be there, like any steel plant you see, like that. So heavy water board of radiation and isotope technology. These are some industries. Even NFC also comes, nuclear fuel complex. Then the 4th one is power sector organizations. Means you will be placed in, we have various reactors at our country in various locations. So you can be placed even in there for the reactor operation directly. For the commercial reactor operation, you can be placed. These are called Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, where all our reactors will be there. In Bhartiya Nambika Vidyut Nigam Limited, it is called. This is also another like Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited only, but with different reactors. And also various public sector organizations are there, like Uranium Corporation of India Limited, where uranium mining will be taken care of. Indian Rare Earths Limited, rare earth extraction will be taken care here, and Electronics Corporation of India Limited. So these are why I am telling this is because once you are trained, you can be oriented to you can go and join in any of these organizations. Okay, because 6 numbers are only there, then only 6 placements will come. We don't know what placement will come. You understand? So because of this, the work profile can be completely different because of various organizations that are there. You may, so in your batch, you may get a power plant placement or not. We don't know. You may not get any R&D placement also. Also possible. So these are all the possible things that can happen. But generally what happens is whenever if you are in BRC training school, most of the people will be taken by the BRC. If you are in ICAR training school, most of the people can go to ICAR. It is like that. So your work will be close to the research center where you are trained. Okay, the training school where you are trained. So the associated research center generally takes maximum number of candidates. You understand this? Then, so the important thing is the work profile, right? So if you are going into a research and developmental sector organization, okay, again here also you may have a monotonous work. We don't know. So the profile will be given to you very clearly. Just to do the placement, okay, you have to just see. So if you are well in the training, then you'll have a lot of choices. If you've done very well in the training, then you'll have a lot of choices to select. Otherwise, you will be having a minimal number of choices. Then you have to choose between these things. So some may have a monotonous work, some may have R&D developmental works. But when it is, but even though it is a monotonous work, the technology is specialized. Means because it is nuclear power plants and all, the technology is generally challenging, and we will not have any support from outside people. So most of the times it is indigenous production and all we have to do. Means we have to get our own process. So that's why it is challenging even there also. But it is possible to have a monotonous work even in the same scheme if you are selected. Okay, for metallurgy and all, most of the times it is R&D only. Sometimes enough people can take nuclear fuel complex people also can take metallurgy people. Their only production will be there. So that is what we have to take care. So if you have done very well in the training, if you have a lot of choices, then you make whatever you want. Else we cannot guarantee that. I hope you understand this. Okay, so I'll just go through once again. So there are various programs to get into BRC. So one is OCS, BCFS, and KSK. So this is the OCS program. A written test, interview, then a training will be there. After 1 year of training, you will be given placements into different DA units based on your choice and your rank in the training. And BGFS, after MTech, they will be going into the training and then they will be placed. Here, the placement will be done even before your MTech. So there are various training schools in India at various locations. And each training school has its own special curriculum. So mostly you'll be observed into the unit associated with the training school. But it is possible that you can go to another location. Like in my case, I graduated from ARC Training School Mumbai. I trained there, but I came to IZICA, Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research. So that is how we can be done. Then the work profile will depend on your placement because DA as Department of Atomic Energy has a lot of units which has production as well as research and development and as well as power sector, public sector applications are also there in them. Hope this is clear. Then this is how my one is. After graduation from RJKT 2015, I went to BRC Training School. There I tried. These are all my colleagues, my friends at the training. Then after BRC Training School, I got different options to choose. Okay, then I choose the IZICA, Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research. Then I came here. This is what BRC Training School graduation. After that, I came to IZICA for working. I hope you understand this. So then the elephant in the room. Okay, what it takes to get into BRC. So until now, everything is clear, right? Okay, I'll start this one. So far, actually, I met a lot of people like me. Means like me, a lot of people selected because in my training school batch there are almost 110 people there like me. So means sometimes I spoke with them. A lot of friends are there. So with all the sharing only I'm giving here. But some things I thought these are the reasons. Everyone from every this. But I thought there are some reasons. Okay, these are the strongest ones. The first and foremost is strong basics in your subject. This is very important. I'll tell you why later. Because I'll show you some questions how they generally ask these questions. Because they'll start from the basics. So the strong basics are very important. For this, you have to just follow the basic textbooks. Okay, if it's metallurgy or PC or CSE, whatever it is, there will be some special, some basic textbooks in each and every branch. These textbooks are to be read. Okay, because in these textbooks, the basics will be very clearly explained. And more help that you can take is NPTEL videos because of the professors, the IT professors, they teach very slowly. You guys know very slowly they teach and very clearly they will explain. So NPTEL videos also, you can take the help of NPTEL videos. Wherever the subject videos are there, you can directly go to the NPTEL videos, complete the NPTEL videos and come back to the textbook and see if you get any extra, if you have any doubts. So this is how you can develop these strong basics, and this is very, very important. Not only for BRC, for any other, if you want to have a core career, this is the most important thing. Having strong basics. Then the second one is interlinking various subjects.
Aniya, little louder.
Little louder, okay. because I'm in a closed room, so I thought to speak out. So
Yeah, this is fine.
second one is interlinking various subjects. So interlinking various subjects is so important because if you are a metallurgist, you are expected to do something on the field. So there you will not go only with one subject. You have to go with the combination of all the subjects to solve a problem. So this is like your job only. While solving the real time problems, it doesn't come with subject wise. You will not have any thermodynamic problem or phase transformation problem like that. Okay, it will be a combination of all the subjects is needed for solving a problem. Not only here in DRC, but anywhere, wherever you are doing the job also, the same thing will be there. So I'm basically saying you have to become an engineer. Okay, so interlinking various subjects is very important. So if you are reading one subject, you will have some link because this is engineering. Definitely the subjects will be linked. Okay, with one another. These links you have to take care. So because that is how also you can improve the basics and you will be having strong fundamentals only when you can able to link various subjects. This interlinking is very important, and this you can achieve once you completed the basic textbooks. Second year in the second year, then the third year if you go to third year, then you will have advanced courses. So then in the advanced courses, while you are reading the advanced courses, then you will understand there are some links between the subjects that you read in the second year. So this linking is very important. Okay, this linking you can form by solving some problems, also real-life problems, or what are the problems in the textbooks. Sometimes can also give you this interlinking. This interlinking will only comes when you have strong basics. Okay, that is the second point. The third one is practical applications. You just don't read for the exams. Okay, you just read like you have to go out and solve some problem. If somebody comes and gives you some problem, a mathematical problem or a computer science problem, okay, then you're expected to solve it. That is how you have to prepare. That's how you have to get the skills. It is not that writing exam. Writing exam it is different than doing a real world solving a real world problem is very different. So this is very important. Practically, you could able to solve. Sometimes you have to ask the questions by yourself because nobody will comes and ask you. Okay, so you have to create yourself some questions, some practical questions, and try to approach it from your subject. Okay, like if you see, we have some big water plant is here. Okay, it supplies water to all the buildings. So in that water pump house, you'll have some several corrosion problems are there. You can see just by walking there, you can see the different corrosion problems are there. For metallurgist, I'm telling this example. So like that. So if you go and see which type of corrosion is there, what they can do, what is the easiest way that they can improve it without any corrosion, how they can maintain the plant. Okay, this is how you can do. Okay, at least you do it on the book, at least not outside, but you just create yourself some problems. Okay, that is how you can improve the practical knowledge on the subject. So these are all interlinked, right? I think you can see it. Okay. Then the fourth one is digging deeper. So it is not like that once you have completed your semester exam, you cannot throw the book away because the subjects are interlinked. Okay, the subjects are interlinked. So some concepts you will only understand when you see the higher dimension of it. So that is one thing. And digging deeper is simply you have to ask why, and you until you satisfied. That's what we have done. A lot of my friends also have done the same. They'll ask why until they're satisfied. Okay, this is the fourth thing. The fifth thing is the planning. Because in college you're expected to learn a lot, not just subject and all. You have to acquire a lot of skills. You have to know how to live in the society, and a lot more skills you have to acquire in the college. So it's not that you have to do everything in just study. You have to plan accordingly. Okay. And for the interview and all, I'll tell you later. I'll just tell you one example later. Then you will understand what I'm talking about. Here, planning I'm referring to is not just you just don't stick to the books. You have to go and play. Sometimes you have to go for watching movies and all. You have to manage your time because that is how real life is also. Once you join in the job, also you are not expected to spend 12 hours and 14 hours in the office. You have to maintain your life. Okay, this you have to learn even in the college itself. So this planning is very important. Okay, if you are doing all these things, if you have a plan, if you are sticking to the timetable and all, then you will be confident. You can do other things also very easily. Otherwise, you will be in constant tension to whether you will build something or you will achieve something. This tension will not be there when you plan well. And if you plan well, you can like you can say that you can reach that. If you plan well, the people, the confidence will be there with you. Okay, so these are the five things I think that made me get into BRC, and I cleared the interview. One more thing I want to tell is that interaction with your seniors and all is also very important. They tell you the changing trends, okay, generally. So that is also very important. You just interact with your seniors, your friends also. They be it subject or be it something else. Okay, you just interact with them. Because through my senior only, I came to know about VRC interview and all. He told it is very difficult. Even though he got some great field, 75 rank, but still he couldn't clear the VRC interview. He's working in Bajaj with me. So he couldn't clear VRC interview. Then only I thought, okay, why shouldn't we do it? So I understand that there is something higher than the gate, clearing gate in the VRC. Then only I get this goal as a clear goal. This has the ultimate goal of clearing VRC interview because it tests your subject lot. Okay. So you interact with your seniors also. Then I'll give you one example here. It is from some of the questions are asked in my interview also. So here you see, this is a metallurgical example, okay? I think that is okay. Because I cannot give all the example. So this is a metallurgical example. What you are seeing on the screen is a water phase diagram. I think everyone knows this. This is there in the +2 also. Intermediate, second year, or first year also, you will have water phase diagram. So here there is a pressure on y-axis, temperature on x-axis. Generally, these are the questions that are expected from the water phase diagram. Okay, what is it? It's triple point. It's 0.01 centigrade. This is one thing. Then the second one is boiling point, because boiling point is defined at a pressure of 1 atmosphere. So under centigrade is the boiling point, and then what is a critical point? Critical point is the point above which you cannot differentiate between liquid and vapor. Okay, liquid and gas you cannot differentiate. So this is what generally expected, okay, out of a water phase diagram, a unary phase diagram. Because if it is a binary, ternary, these many components are there, then you can expect more questions. But from unary phase diagram, you cannot expect a lot. But I'll tell you in the next slide what are the questions that were asked. You see. First, once I drew the diagram, phase diagram on the paper. Okay. Then they asked why the slopes are like that. Okay, here ice and water slope is negative, so these two are positive slopes. Yeah. So that's the first question. Why some phase boundary slopes are negative? What does it represent? Okay. Then it represents a different trend. Okay. Here, what you can see is the melting point. The melting point decreases with increasing the pressure. So that's why it is of a different slope. And here it is a positive slope. The boiling point will increase with the increasing pressure. So that is one thing. Then they told this is okay. Then they asked Cauchy's Calapin equation. So that is how the phase boundary slope will be determined. dV by dt is the slope here. Right? It is going to depend on delta S by delta V. Delta S you can write as delta H by T enthalpy by temperature. So this is how they ask. Okay, this is the second question. What is Cauchy's Calapin equation? Okay, it is not just like they don't ask what is Cauchy's Calapin equation. They'll ask you to prove it in the interview. Okay, so we have to prove this. There is simple proof only, but still they'll ask you proofs also. Okay, this is one thing. Then once you write this equation, it is equal to dP minus SdT. Okay, first you C and B. Then they'll ask you the Maxwell equations, because this is one of the Maxwell equations. No, D is equal to dP minus SdT. This is one thermodynamic equation. So from there, Maxwell equations they can ask. And then one more simple thing is phase rule. Here at the tip point, what is the degree of freedom? Here on the boundaries, what is the degrees of freedom available in phase diagram? This is how they will go. So some practical applications also. So pressure cooker possible because of this positive slope. The water and water vapor. And ice skating is possible because of this negative slope. Because ice skating is possible because when you are increasing the pressure and when a person is on the ice skating board, we will increase the pressure on the ice, so there will be a slight melting of the ice below the board. This gives a frictionless layer through which the person can skate easily. In the pressure cooker, because by increasing the pressure, you can increase the boiling point. So increasing the boiling point will make the water in the liquid state only. So because it is in the liquid state, but it has a higher and higher heat content, the things will cook fast. Okay. Then the third one is the why ice floats on the ocean. Because why ice floats on the ocean? Because of the volume differences. Okay. Then why again volume difference has come? Generally, the liquid will have a higher volume, solid will have a lower volume. But in the ice, it is different. In the case of water, it is different. Ice will have a higher volume than the liquid. Okay. So the lower density. So why it is possible again? It is because of hydrogen bonding. So this is how the questions goes. Okay, you understand this thing. So this is what we see. What they ask is very different. So this is also how we have to study. We have to ask these questions also. Why there is a negative slope. Like that, if you are asking yourself, it will be very easy in the interview. Okay. I hope I gave you a good example. So
Sir, your voice is very low, sir. And
Okay.
small disturbance is coming.
Disturbance is coming. Okay. Now it is okay. So this is how the questions are asked. I think you get a good idea about with this example. So this is the level they go. Okay, it is not beyond your textbooks. All these are there in the textbooks, but not at one place. So you have to connect all the things. That is what I'm telling. Interlinking various subjects to solve a real world problem. So I think I gave a good orientation towards how to get into VARC. Okay, then the next part, half of the part I'm going to focus on GATE for metallurgy students. Okay, so what I have done while preparing for GATE during my BTech, okay, that I'm going to tell you now. So this is only for metallurgy students. Okay. So this is my GATE scorecard. Okay, my marks are 82.67. Okay, so I'll tell you how I got this 82.67. 97.21. So I think it is good only. Because below 30 you will get IAS admission directly. For metallurgy students, below 30 you will get IAS admission directly. So that is one of the goals. So this is the metallurgical engineering marking scheme. General aptitude you will have for 15 marks. Okay, then metallurgy and engineering you will have the rest of the marks. Okay, how much it is? 85. So what I focused while preparing it, I didn't have a lot of time for preparing for general aptitude. So then I focused only on the marks in the red rectangle you can see on the screen. Only metallurgy and the mathematics. Okay, I didn't prepare for general aptitude because I don't have time. I thought I don't have time for that, so I prepared only for these two. General aptitude I am not discussing. It is easy only because there are how many questions? 10 questions will come. 15 marks. You can, I think 5 easily you can answer. So if you are coming to metallurgy and engineering mathematics, for the next coming slides, what I have done, I have taken syllabus from the GATE notification. For metallurgy, I have taken the syllabus. I divided it into various subjects, and I'll tell you what are the various books that you can read, and what are the various strategies you can follow for each subjects. Okay. So this is the first thing. This is the first thing that I kept. Section 2, thermodynamics and rate processes. This is how you will look GATE notification. So you can see laws of thermodynamics and the Dillingham diagram, basic equilibrium, and then there are three subjects. This big syllabus, thermodynamics and rate processes. You see the red rectangle. The first one is metallurgical thermodynamics. Second one is corrosion science and technology. So these are the three subparts in this thermodynamics and rate processes. So the first one is metallurgical thermodynamics. Metallurgical thermodynamics is one of the most important subjects. This interlinks every subject that you are reading later. So this is a very important subject. What book you read for this? You just read David Gaskell, Introduction to Metallurgical Thermodynamics books. Okay. Actually, you no need to read all the chapters. The first few chapters, basic chapters will be there. Then you will go to until solutions. At least until solutions, you have to read it fully. And you also try to solve the problems that are there on the backside of each chapter. Okay, this is a very important book. I didn't follow any other thing else because this is the easiest book also. It is not very difficult to read also. Metallurgical thermodynamics. We don't have NPTEL videos for metallurgical thermodynamics. Advanced thermodynamics is there, but metallurgical thermodynamics introduction is not there. So you just follow this book. It is one of the greatest books. Okay. Then the second one is corrosion science and technology. Corrosion science and technology, you can read Fontana. Not all the chapters again. Okay. Whatever here in the syllabus they have given, some corrosion types, different corrosion types are given. And there are different production. You see, production, aqueous corrosion, and protection of metals also. How different corrosions are there, and what are the various techniques through which we can protect them. Okay, and some basics. This is what we have to do. Okay, it is not that if I'm giving one textbook, and it doesn't mean that you have to read entirely. Okay, you just select some of the chapters according to the syllabus. You don't need to read all the chapters. You will not have that much time also. And the third one, what happened is the transportation phenomena. Okay. So we'll have heat transfer, mass transfer, these concepts, moment transfer. You can follow one of the book. Okay, we used to follow one book was there, circulated among us during the course. You just follow the basic, the first few pages in each chapter of this mass transfer, heat transfer, and the momentum transfer. These are the basic concepts are enough. But if you see the GATE exam pattern, they won't ask very advanced questions from the heat transfer, mass transfer, and moment transfer. Most of the time they'll ask one or two problems, or the units of various heat transfer coefficients. These things they will ask. So that is what you have to do. But what I have done for heat transfer is only for heat transfer. Some NPTEL course is there on the heat transfer for mechanical students. Okay. So the professor is the one who wrote the book also for mechanical students. So I listened some 10 videos just for basic conduction, basic heat transfer problems, how to solve the problems, and what are the various concepts in the heat transfer, like that. So heat transfer is this transportation phenomena, and corrosion science is not very important. Okay, in the section 2. The most important is the thermodynamics, both for the subject and for the GATE. It is very important, metallurgical thermodynamics. Okay, so you don't worry about these things. Transportation process, and here thermodynamics of surfaces, etc., was given here. The third line of the syllabus. Interfaces, defects. These things you don't worry. You focus mainly on the thermodynamics. Corrosion science and technology you can read, but lot of books won't come. Very few comes. But as I told you before, what are the various corrosion phenomena and how to solve, how to prevent them. This is how you have to read corrosion science and technology. Okay. And then, so metallurgical thermodynamics is the one which you have to concentrate in the section 2. Then section 4 I kept here, physical metallurgy. This is the most important topic for metallurgists. Wherever you are going, they'll ask you these things. Okay. So these are the books that I read. It is very easy to read. Then you go for the Raghavan, okay, including numericals also. Okay, you do numericals in the both Kalister as well as Raghavan, because numericals are asked in the physical metallurgy. Numericals are also asked. These books, how you read is you can give Kalister is very easy to read, and Raghavan also. But once you read, if you thought that some concepts are not clear, then you go to other books. Like you go here, it is phase transformations. If you want to understand phase transformations a little deeper, but if you want to dig deep, you have to go to this book, Phase Transformations by Porter. Porter book is there. And one NPTEL course is also there, Advanced Thermodynamics, by Professor V.S. Murthy videos. He also teaches the same, almost similar concepts which are there in the Phase Transformations Porter book. Okay, so this you can read. So this you have to read, but this is an MTech level book generally. You don't need to read all the chapters, but some of the chapters where if you thought this material is not enough, Callisto and Dragon, then you go to this book and read. Otherwise, you follow these videos. Okay, then heat treatment, because heat treatment will be there. The heat treatment. For heat treatment, I found that in the Visanta Singh, there is a lab book heat treatment, physical metallurgy. Physical metallurgy is there as well as heat treatment is there. So I think it is better to go for Vijayendra Singh for heat treatment, because one chapter is there in the physical metallurgy book, heat treatment of steels or something like that. So I read that for heat treatment. It is very good. Okay. So these are the things that I follow for physical metallurgy. Then there are only physical metallurgy books are also available, but these things are enough. Callisto is enough. Callisto and Raghavan combination is enough. If you want more and more information on phase transformation, then you go to the part. Okay, then in this syllabus, physical metallurgy, under physical metallurgy, you will find out polymer, ceramics, etc. You don't read any specialized book, just read Callisto's. In the Callisto, you'll have chapter for ceramics, polymers. Okay, these properties, optical, electrical, and thermal properties. One chapter will be there. You just read the chapter and solve. Try to solve the problems on the end of the chapter. That's all. And for characterization also, characterization is really important once you go to higher and higher levels. But for BTech level, characterization is not that important in the GATE exam. But one of the questions are already every time they comes. So these questions are mostly from X-ray diffraction and SLM. So there are books for the characterization. Each technique will have one separate book. This is not needed, but there are some general books where all techniques and the general features will be explained. Okay, this you try to read. Otherwise, if any course is there in the university, just you follow that course. Okay, so don't worry about this polymer ceramics and characterization. You have to focus more and more on the Callisto Raghavan and phase transformation quarter book, and for heat treatment, Vijayendra. That's all. Okay. Then comes the third important one, mechanical metallurgy. Mechanical metallurgy is also very important for the metallurgist. Okay. So after physical metallurgy, you just focus on the mechanical metallurgy. Only one mantra I gave here is data book. Okay. Data book is slightly difficult to read sometimes, but it is one of the best. Okay. Slightly difficult to read, so you give multiple readings. You read one chapter, give some time gap, then read it later sometime. Okay, so and after once you understand physical metallurgy phase transformations better, you can understand mechanical metallurgy better. Okay, so I got some difficulty while reading the data and all. So I asked one of the faculty to suggest me another book for mechanical metallurgy. Okay. So this one they suggested, the formation and fracture mechanics by Hertzberg. So this you can find the PDF in the internet. Another one, here in this book, no, I read the strengthening mechanisms and dislocation theory. Fracture mechanics also you can read. So the strengthening mechanisms and dislocation theory is very good in this book. It is very easy to read also. Okay, once you read this book, you'll understand these two topics very effectively. And once you completed this, then you again go back to Dieter and see the same concept there. But Dieter is the best book for the mechanical metallurgy. It is short. It is actually not very well explained sometimes. Their own reasons, but still, it is one of the best book. For exact reasons and all, you just use Google. Okay, but mechanical metallurgy, Dieter book is the best. You have to complete this book, I think, entirely, because at various another manufacturing process also comes. So you try to complete this thing. Mechanical metallurgy, Dieter book. Okay, and the problems that they give in the end of the chapter, and in between also they'll give examples. So these also you try to do. Then comes the manufacturing process. In the manufacturing process, nowadays some casting problems and all are coming, but this book you don't read. Okay? I didn't find any useful stuff in this for the exam. Okay. So metal casting, you try to find some other course. I didn't. I'm not referring any book here. But try to find some other. Okay. Then after metal forming techniques are there. Metal forming, process of rolling, forging, extrusion, all these things you can read in the data. And the examples, whatever there in the given in the data are the same that going to come in the exam also. Okay, but if you want to get a little bit more idea and all, what you can do is that I followed some material, some gate coaching material from mechanical people. It is not needed, but the same concept. If you want to go and see there, just have a look at them once. Okay, from them. So then metal forming actually it is very important for problems. It is there in the title as I said already. Then comes the welding and powder metallurgy. So welding and powder metallurgy, actually, there are some questions generally comes, one or two questions comes. So what you do is don't follow any other book, just you follow the aggregating content. That is, I think, enough for welding and powder metallurgy. Okay, this manufacturing process is completed with this. So the next is extractive metallurgy. Generally, they are not giving a lot of questions. Very basic questions only will be given. So what I suggest is you don't focus a lot, but why it is important is extraction is important is because nobody else read extraction, only the manager to read extraction. So extraction of non-ferrous metals, you'll understand thermodynamics a little bit more. That's why these are very important. Even while reading iron making and steel making, also you will understand thermodynamics a little bit more. Okay, so that's why I tell you to read these things. Okay, but for gate and all, it is very important to cover all the subjects. Okay, you have to see every because one or two questions will always come from the same subject. So here also for extraction of non-ferrous metals, I don't give any of the extractive metals also. I'm preparing for the interview also. In the interview and all they will ask. Even though the gate exam and all, it is not very important, but in the interview they will ask. So that's why I prepared. This is how I prepared. Extraction of non-ferrous metals, I follow this book by his videos also, NPTEL videos. So what I did was first I listened to those videos. Okay, he teaches from the book only. So I listen to those videos, then I'll come back to the book if any extra point is there. Okay, so that is how I read HS3. And then iron making and steel making, the book is very easy to read. But you don't need to read all the chapters. Okay, but whatever is given in the syllabus, you read all that. What are the processes, COD, VAD, UOD, VAR, ESR. These are all the refining processes. These you have to read. Whatever there in the syllabus, you read those from these books. And iron making and steel making, lot of problems. I think you can read it for some problems. You can go and take it from iron making and steel making, this book, last book, and those. But some chapters are there on the steel making and all. Means if you're finding this modern iron making and modern steel making very huge, then you can go to this book and read. Okay. So I think that is need to worry. Or here, mineral dressing, furnace center factors. These things you don't worry. Mineral dressing and all, only one question comes. You just see the question. It is mostly based on some mineral dressing operation, classification, and some flotation. These things will come. So I think you don't need to worry about it a lot, but you just give what are these, the syllabus, what are the words that were given, you understand them. What are the various different communication techniques. And you put your question paper before you and see what are the various previous questions that were asked. That's all. Okay. And iron and steel making also, what I observed was material balance problem from iron and steel making and with other, because it is extraction only, lots will be there. You have to read these facts. And you just see the previous papers. That is more important. Okay, you just see the previous papers and find out what are the topics that were asked repeatedly. They will be asking the same, but here and there change a little. So you follow this thing. Okay. And what in general, learning the subject metallurgy as a whole. Okay, I follow the following schema. Okay, this one. First, what you have to read is for learning metallurgy. This is the first level that I followed. First, I completed. You try to complete the Gaskell. Okay, try to complete the Gaskell. Most of the chapters are useful only. I get the thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is like base for all the other things. Then you read physical metallurgy from these two books, Material Science and History, and third one also. Okay, this is the first one. This is the two. This is you have to complete. Okay, once you you thought you are very good at this, then you go to the next level. The next level is phase transformations by Potter and the mechanical methodology. Okay, you can read mechanical methodology from these two books. So this is one. Again, just while you are reading level 2, you will understand level 1 better. This is how it is. Okay. So these two are very important. These six are the most important. Okay. These two levels are the most important. Then afterwards, the extraction, corrosion, and all. These you can read even. Level 2 is different. Level 3, these things. The extraction again, you need some basics from thermodynamics. Corrosion also, sometimes you do thermodynamics. Otherwise, some subjects you can standalone you can read. But this is the third level that you have to learn. This is how I learned the various subjects in different levels. Okay. And you have to go several times. You may need to go back and forth so that you'll understand the subjects better. I used to go to the thermodynamics several times by reading phase transformations. It is like that. It is not that it is complete and then you have to throw it away. You cannot do that. You sometimes you have to go back and see the thermodynamics book for phase transformations. The same way, while mechanical methodology you are reading, you may need to go to the physical methodology and see phases and all these things, phase defects, all these they will be taught in the mechanical methodology. So that is how it has to be done. I think I completed this. So if any doubts are there, I'll add those.
Thank you so much, sir. From students, if you have any doubts or queries, you can post them in chat box.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yeah, please ask.
How much CGPA is required for GATE, sir?
GATE, I think 60% is enough for writing GATE.
Okay, sir.
For clearing GATE, you have to think CGPAs and all. Okay. But
Yeah,
minimum,
okay, sir.
minimum for jobs and all, I think maximum 70% is enough. For any job, you won't ask you more than 70%. Okay.
Sir, you have another one question, sir.
Yes.
Any tips or tricks for studying the subjects like thermodynamics?
Okay. Thermodynamics. Thermodynamics, as I told, the book is there, Gaskell. You can read Gaskell. It is very easy to understand. Otherwise, you just whenever you don't understand one concept, it's not like that you don't understand the whole chapter, right? So whenever you don't understand some particular topic, nowadays a lot of material is available on the internet itself. You'll get some MIT videos also on thermodynamics. Okay, otherwise some chemical thermodynamics materials are also there in the internet. You just go and search this concept. Okay, and come back and read the book again. You have to give multiple readings for thermodynamics. Otherwise, it is difficult to understand. Sometimes what I've done was, for understanding the basic thermodynamics, means thermodynamics how we can apply in the materials, I went to the non-ferrous extractometallurgy. In that thermodynamics introduction chapter is there. Okay, you just read that introduction chapter, then you will understand better how we generally apply thermodynamics in the metallurgy field. So you can first if you understand that, then you come back and see the subjects. Okay, see the subject. And if you have any doubt, you just search in the internet. Because most of the times you will get. Nowadays, lot of material is available. And thermodynamics is like you discuss it with anyone. Mechanics, chemistry will also will have thermodynamics. All of them will have thermodynamics. The way it applied in different subjects is different. That you have to catch. Okay. Hmm. And
Another question, sir. Will the candidate be paid in the period of training at bar?
yeah, during training you will be paid 35,000 per month. Right now it is 35,000, I think. I think while I was in training, it is 25,000 or something. So there will be monthly stipend of 35,000. Right now it is 35,000 rupees. After that they do some 10,000 rupees for books, for test books and all you can purchase. 10,000 rupees. This is what they pay, and the accommodation and all they'll provide.
Sir, is GATE compulsory for MTech, sir?
Gate if you want to do, that is what it depends on. If you want to do in the IITs and IITs, gate is compulsory. Or if you want to do state universities, they'll have some their own exams for masters.
Another question, sir. For mathematics, previous year's problems are enough for
Yeah,
practicing.
mathematics I forgot to tell you. What I did was mathematics. Actually, it is in the even level. The mathematics that is asked in the gate is first year BTech level. So here in gate, what I have done was I don't have those notebooks. Also, I lost. So what I done was I noted down all the concepts. Then I went to Khan Academy. Khan Academy, no. Khan Academy will have online videos, YouTube videos. So the Khan Academy videos I followed for all the concepts. Okay, then I sometimes I try to use materials, these gate materials which are available in other branches if we don't have any material though. But other branches also has mathematics, right? So I followed some other branches mathematics material, but it is slightly different. The questions that were asked to metallurgy and the questions that were asked to a CSC student for the same concept are different. The difference to mine. Otherwise, you can follow any. Our gate material is also there, no? Elite material or something for mathematics. That also you can follow. It doesn't take so much time for mathematics. Very easy concepts are there, but you have to cover every concept because they can ask from anywhere. But the concepts are easy, so don't leave mathematics.
Is the same preparation enough for GATE and BARC, sir?
No, both are not. Those are not enough. In GATE, no, they won't ask here if you. As I told you in the linear research diagram. So in the gate, they won't ask you. They may ask you which equation is driving that negative. So that's all. Otherwise, they'll ask you classes Kelvin equation dv by dt equal to delta h by t into delta v. That's all. In gate, they won't ask. You have to go to another level for BRC interview. It is more than the gate. Definitely, it is more than the gate. But in the written test, for the gate written test, for BRC written test, it is almost at the gate level. Sometimes it is even lesser. But in the interview, if you want to clear, you have to go beyond that.
Sir, what are the streams we can go with GATE, sir?
What are the?
I'm
Streams in the sense you can go for higher study. That is one thing. That is the PhDs are making their own exam, like SAIL sometimes conducted their own exam. Otherwise, they'll take GATE as their written test. You have to attend the interview. IOCL, these things, these are some PSU units which you take candidates from GATE. Okay, so if you got a GATE good rank and if you perform well in the interview, then you can get job also. That is one other way you can. That is how you can use GATE. Rather than just going for high studies.
Sir,
Sir,
which
another
is
question.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, which is
When
good
it will be
join?
the better?
Oh, two people are speaking. Tell me.
Akka, you can ask Akka.
Sir, when which is good joining PS after BTech or MTech, sir?
Which one training school? Acha, two schemes you are saying, OCS and ECFS. Actually, nowadays it is like you can do even MTech after joining the department also. Here we have an institute called HPNU, Homi Baba National Institute, wherein after your training, you can do 1 year project in the department. Okay, after you are placed, then you can take it as an MTech project. Okay, so MTech is possible even after joining the department. Otherwise, like DGFS scheme, if you are in the DGFS scheme, you can go through, you can do MTech in the IITs. That's all. That is the difference. If you want to do it in the IIT, that is how you can do from the DGFS scheme. And some of my friends joined in the OCS training after their not DGFS, their MTech. Then only they qualified the interview and came to the training. That is also possible. You can do MTech and after that you can apply for VRC.
Okay, sir. Another question, sir.
Uh,
When it will be better to solve the previous year papers, like test series?
One thing is, first you have to understand the exam itself, right? So it is better to see first before you start any serious means you anyway because you're taught in the classroom. Most of the things, words and all, you may be aware of. So you just see the questions. If you are reading some, if you want to complete some subject, you take that subject first before going into that subject. You just check out all the questions. But nowadays, subject-wise questions are also available. So the subject-wise questions you take and see what are the various important concepts. Okay, so for gate itself, if you want only for the gate, then you read only those concepts. Okay, and the surrounding concept. That's side, this side also. So you read first. You just have to check the question paper. Then you come to the book and read. Then you go back once again and you try to see if you could able to answer them. Okay, this is one thing. But at the final stage, it is like you have to answer all the questions, means from all the subjects. That is also you have to see. That's why test series is important. In the test series, you'll have various questions from various subjects, and all of them were given by combining all of them. You were given a question paper. So it is better to do at last. What I have done was 9 years 2015. I wrote it 2015 gate. So I wrote 2015 gate. So I gave 2014 and 13. I took as a test papers. We don't have that there. At that time we don't have test series and all. So I took 2013 and 14 as test papers. I didn't see them while I'm preparing. So at last I gave these two papers. I got around 80, 85. So like that you have to test yourself because that is how the exam is at last. So even though while you are preparing, you are seeing subject-wise papers, at last you combine all the subjects and to see take a test series so that while combining, while the questions were given in the combination, you are able to solve it or not also is important. Okay.
Sir, is qualifying gate easy, sir?
Yeah, qualifying is very easy. I don't understand why it became very difficult for you guys. I saw last year ocean paper before that and before that. Nothing changed. Okay, you have to read something. You have to put some hard work. Okay. The metallurgy, I don't think it is difficult. Very few it will be there. Qualification is not very difficult. Qualification you don't aim at. You have to aim for high below 100 you have to aim. Then only you get a very good placement or very good MTech seat in from a good IIT. I don't think it is difficult because if you follow this, you just have a plan for yourself. Then you can do this. You don't need any. Even I did it just after the BTech, right? I didn't have any extra year also in between. It is not that difficult. Gate is not difficult. I'll tell you the difficult exams. Gate is not that difficult.
Sir, what is the minimum gate rank required to get into PSU in metallurgy?
PSUs, it depends. Means if based on the candidates, no, they will shortlist because it is only for interview call. It is not that they will directly give you the job. Because it is only for the interview call, it is generally higher only. I think around 300, 300 is also good enough, 300 to 400 also. But because it is for interview shortlisting only. Okay. But in the interview, you have to perform well. But for getting a good IIT and all, 150, 200, it is also good. You will get very good IITs. Because it is not, the gate is not written by, not by all the students who wants to enter into MTech institution. Means in IIT. A lot of people professionals also write a gate. A lot of people write for different reasons. So you don't have to worry about that. So sometimes even 200 rank is also good enough for getting into MTech. And for interview shortlisting and all, it depends on the number of candidates that apply. But 300 is good enough, I think.
Six months preparation is enough for GATE, sir.
In 6 months, how many hours you're reading is also important, no? 6 months, it is not like that. You have to be in a journey. Okay, don't keep it like this. You have to be in a journey. I started it on second year, something like that. So if you, because I started very early, so that then only I could able to plan the 6 months. Until then, what you are doing, you just, because if you are having very short time, you cannot execute every plan. You have to be very efficient. So that is very difficult. So you do along with your coursework. Means you do this along with your coursework, because whatever you are going to write in the exam is also what you are going to learn in the classroom. If these two are different, then only you have to be worried, because these two are same only. It is easy because like this is one thing, one more thing you can follow. Like if you're if course of thermodynamics is going on, you try to read the Gaskell at the same time and try to complete it for GATE also. You do while course is going on, you do at least 50%. The left, the other 50% you do later, but at least 50% you try to do during the course itself. Okay, that is how you can do it. No, why you are waiting for 6 months, before 6 months and all. We are not reading. It is not like exam, normal exam. GATE exam sometimes ask very basic questions. So because of the very basic nature and all, it is okay. Some people does even in the 6 months, 7 months, whatever it is. But this is a very peaceful plan. You do along parallelly along with your normal classes. Okay, that is what I have done. That is how I got into the basics very clearly. Here some more questions are there here in the thought box.
Abroad, or else to continue as a scientist in BARC?
As I said before, there is an institution here itself, HPMA. So, who in the employees who wants to go for higher studies and all, okay. If you sometimes there is a possibility to do PhD when your project is such that the instruments are specialist is not available in your in India or in any other unit. It is possible to go abroad. It used to be very easy, provided everything is available within the department. That's why they are not sending. Okay, otherwise it is possible to do PhD. You can do here. While continuing your job or as a part of your job, you can do PhD. It's not difficult.
Sir, how many questions we will get from mathematics, sir?
As I said in the presentation, it is for 15 marks, I think. Yes. Mathematics and combination. Biology will be 85 marks. Okay. In fact, mathematics, I think it will be around 10 marks. It will be, and it is easy. All the time you can answer if you prepare. Okay. It is very easy. Mathematics is the most easiest in the GATE exam. For especially for metallurgists, they don't ask very difficult questions. Okay, usually ask this. If you take probability questions from CSC and probability questions from metallurgy, then you will see the difference. It is very easy. So you don't leave this mathematics and all. Mathematics is scoring, very scoring. And you do like this, you make it a habit, like just after waking up. If you have some difficult subject, no, just after waking up, you take that subject 1 hour or half an hour. You read a subject every day after waking up. Then it will be easy. It is like that. You make it part of your life rather than make it as a separate. You don't see studying as a separate entity. You make it as part of your as a general life.
Sir,
Ah,
actually, as of branch and studies, we have metallurgy and materials.
ah.
Uh, but while choosing branch, I have very special interest on metallurgy. Which I want to know is which course is trending, either metallurgy or material science. Which means I want to know whether we have any good chances uh, if we choose our career towards metallurgy.
See, metallurgy and material science is very wide. I mean, so a lot of different things are there. And the material science also has attracts a lot of people from physics, chemistry. These people also. Once you go to the higher levels, MTech, and once you cross MTech, PhD and all, you will see a lot of other people also coming and studying the materials. Okay, that is possible. For metallurgy, sometimes it is exclusive for metallurgy people. Okay, and when it comes to the career, both are there, but material science nowadays, a lot of PhDs, PhD people who are going outside abroad, they are taking PhDs from materials engineering. But but in Indian scenario also, they are not seeing it as different. Even if you are qualified to material, even if you see the jobs also, they will give you both material engineering and materials engineering. No, they don't differentiate them that much. If you want to have a qualification for a job, they won't differentiate between metallurgist and material science. But it is just your interest. If you want to read, if you want to study other functional, and the functional properties, you want to study the physical properties, functional properties, then you
Yes,
go
sir.
to the material science.
I have a special interest on metallurgy, sir. So that I want to know whether
No,
it's good or not.
no, it is not a problem at all. Okay, even metallurgy also a lot of problems are there to solve, no problem. It is not a problem at all. This is also the field that because I am also working in the metallurgy, core metallurgy only I am working in metallurgy. So it is there. It's not that only material science people have to work.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
If there are no more questions, Kirananya would like to talk for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, if there are no questions, then I would like to speak for a few minutes. First of all, we should thank our brother for giving all the solutions that are necessary that he gave me during my time also. So I just want to add some more things, not on a gate level, but in general. The thing is uh, about asking seniors, although he emphasized, uh, I'm emphasizing little bit more, like ask them. They are the people who faced the similar experiences before you. So you should go from them every level, not only here, wherever you go, check with seniors. Possibly the people who are really interested in the career that you are doing, check with them, ask them, take suggestions from them, like what will be good, which one will be good for future, and all. Um The other thing is related to the last question, whether someone is asking about whether network is good for the future or not. So this is where it comes, where you have to see what is happening in the world right now. For example, recently there is this Paris agreement to reduce the temperature below 2 degrees Celsius for global warming. Then all the research started to do something related to that. For example, in metallurgy, it is sustainable metallurgy related to extraction because we are one of the largest carbon emissions producer in terms of steel making. So every research is now focusing on sustainable metallurgy to reduce these carbon emissions so that in the next 20 years, we will reach a goal of reducing this temperature below 2 degrees Celsius. The other thing is manufacturing. We are also going for near net manufacturing, like zero loss, for example, additive manufacturing. And also hydrogen related problems, for example, that is a corrosion problem. Those are there from long back and they will be there in, let us say, next 20 years in the future. So while selecting your projects and all, be wise to choose type of interns or projects that are really helpful for your future. The other thing is related to internships or any mini projects. I suggest you to go outside, like go to IITs or research institutes like DRC, DRDO, where there are facilities, where there are actual problems that are going on. So that really helps you to understand how to use what you are actually studying. Okay. Um the other thing is related to individual level of studying. I know that some people are bright, they can be independent, but most of the people, if you see the scale of scatter, most people are average. So there comes three things: independence, dependence, interdependence. So I mean, when I was studying, although I know that I'm not a bad student, the thing is to ask someone, but sometimes I used to feel like it might be a dependence, but it should not be. We should not think like that. It is an interdependence. Like it is always better, even if you are a bright student, average student, or below average student. For bright students, to explain to someone actually helps you to understand the problem much better. That also helps the average student to get the problem much better. In that way, as a group, you will all be in better positions overall. But of course, you should see the time and should not waste. You should be efficient. So I strongly suggest you to try to communicate with your friends. For example, some people will be very good in mathematics. Some people will be very good in extraction related problems. So learn the tricks with each other. The last one that I want to tell is related to exam preparation. Uh, I think it is very good, very much needed to prepare for exam before. Like you should have more practice tests. This is from personal experience. For example, even though I completed all those subjects and all, but after 2015, the type little bit changed. Like we have this online calculator and all. So I focused more on understanding. Of course, that latter helped me in some other ways, but somehow I missed uh, an exam-oriented preparation. So although I qualified with a rank around 200, but the thing is, for me, it's kind of personally a little disappointing. So be careful with that. Sometimes you have to have a cutoff. How much level of understanding you need, what you need in the coming, like how to prepare, what to prepare. So there is a specific time above which you need to focus on one thing. For example, let us say before 7 and 8 months, you need to focus on exam oriented preparation for GATE. You need to focus on timings. You need to focus on problem solving abilities and all. So do more practice tests. Similarly, on hand and on, hand in hand, try to learn the topics also. And you will get more idea sometimes. Daily I suggest you to read some books outside your academics, one page at least, just one page, because those books won't really pressurize you, but it indeed helps you to realize what to do next. For example, I suggest a brief history of time. For example, many people might know about that. You will understand how science evolved. So daily one page, that is for personal motivation to continue your works. And also there is some book called Sapiens. There you will understand how we evolved. And also you will understand what are the coming problems that we are going to face. So that in your own field itself, you can decide where to go next, what to do next. So having such kind of mindset in the early stages helps you a lot in the future. That's what all I want to say. And regarding mathematics, many people were asking what to prepare and all. Yeah, Khan Academy videos were really good, but recently the guy from one very famous guy from Khan Academy started a separate YouTube series. Its name is 3 Blue 1 Brown. And whenever you're stuck with understanding the concept in terms of practicality, I suggest you to go through this YouTube channel, 3 Blue 1 Brown. Then if you go back to problems, they seem very easy. Even recently also, while I was studying about diffraction patterns, so I went back and checked them. They were really good. So whenever you find some time, go there, see, and come back, and then check your problems. Yeah, that's what all I want to add. Hope that helps. All the best.
Thank you so much, Anaya. Thank you so much, sir. Um, on behalf of our team SGCSE, I would like to thank our eloquent speaker, Mr. Haribabu sir, who graced us with his informative lecture about GATE and BARC. I would like to thank RGKT administration for giving innumerable support towards today's session. I would like to thank team of SGCSE for conducting events and sessions. I hope this coordination with SGCSE gets continued and more students gets benefited with the help of our alumni. We thank all the students for showing their interest in this lecture. Thank you each and everyone.
I already have contact details. You just mail me or message me if you have any more. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I enjoyed it.